Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
The state of Uttar Pradesh has provided us a break from China, coronavirus, etc. to talk about in national interest today. Unfortunately, this is not for a good reason. This is for a bad reason. And the bad reason is this encounter death, what's been happening over the past week in Uttar Pradesh with this mafia activity coming out of Kanpur that first led to the killing of 8 policemen including an officer, and then the several henchmen of the gang leader, that is Vikas Dubey, and then his killing in an encounter which is so farcical. The story is so farcical that I think I found more convincing stories in Bikram or Betal. Having said that, what are we talking about? We are not talking about this encounter. We are talking about the state of Uttar Pradesh. Is a state like this even governable? You hear about mafias all the time in Uttar Pradesh. They're caste-based mafias. There are nexuses they've always been there between caste, politics, political power, and the mafias. This is one of the reasons why entrepreneurship has not developed in Uttar Pradesh, barring a tiny belt that borders Delhi, that is Noida, Greater Noida, etc., etc. Very little else has come up. Even where there was entrepreneurship, it has gone away. City of Kanpur is a very good example. In fact, what used to be the industrial hub of the Hindi heartland is today the mafia hub of the nation. What is the solution? So the problem, before we find a solution, we have to look at the problem. Is a state of UP size even manageable or governable? So let's put UP in perspective. UP in terms of population has as many people as Pakistan or as Brazil. In fact, it has as many people as Pakistan in 1/3 of the land mass, which means it's also very thickly populated. Again, it is as many people as Brazil. Brazil is much bigger, but remember, Brazil has 26 states. It's a federation of 26 states. It's a federal republic of 26 states. Pakistan itself has 4 states or 4 + 2 depending on how you count them, because they count their side of occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan as 2 autonomous provinces. So Pakistan is also divided in that federative structure. Uttar Pradesh, on the other hand, 20 crore plus people, very poor state. It has unfortunately, and it's a story that we did some time back, it unfortunately has social indicators to match Pakistan's in most areas, not Brazil's, unfortunately. In fact, it's so much like at that low level that even Uttar Pradesh's population growth rate is twice as high as our national population growth rate, and it's about as high as, say, Pakistan's. In fact, the one area where it's even half of Pakistan is in per capita incomes. Then it has a lot of crime, it has political instability. Now, last few governments have lasted 5 years, but there is instability in the sense that no government is seen to be inclusive by everybody in Uttar Pradesh. Why? Because vote is still divided on caste basis. Casteism has gone really deep. So even when somebody gets a majority with a lot of the castes voting for them, as for example this BJP government, it is still seen as a government dominated by the caste of the chief minister, and whether you like it or not, that plays out like that in real life. So unless you divide up UP, there is no solution for the UP problem. So once again, remember that line from Sound of Music: how do you solve a problem like Maria? So how do you solve a problem like Uttar Pradesh? This way to solve it is to divide it. Why? And why do we say it's too big? So just think about Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh has as many MPs as Gujarat, Rajasthan and Karnataka put together, and you can still add one or more. So it causes a great imbalance in terms of national power. So everybody knows that if you can win Uttar Pradesh, you can win power in the nation. So it gives one state an exaggerated power in the federal power structure. Second, because it is such a large state, it is difficult for anybody to do great stuff for that state within 5 years and ride to elections victory based on that. So everybody looks for something divisive. The two most divisive ideas in Indian politics in the past 30 years have both taken root in Uttar Pradesh. One is Mandal, that is caste, and the other is Mandir, that is religion. So as we keep saying, the big tussle in Indian politics for 30 years has been for the BJP, can you use religion to reunite what caste divided? For the Mandalites, can you use caste to unite, to divide what religion united? Now, this is also a state with Lord Ram, birthplace of Lord Ram, and Lord Krishna, also the home of Lord Shiva, that is in Varanasi. It's also the home of so many Muslim shrines in India, especially the Shias in Lucknow. So this is a state where somebody plays religion, somebody plays caste, somebody plays a combination of a religion and some castes, or some religion and some castes. So you have to divide and rule. It may apply to smaller states also, but when you do in a big state like that, then a lot of the people, number of people who feel left out is enormously large. So if you look at Uttar Pradesh, there are districts in Uttar Pradesh where Jats are very powerful. So when someone like Chaudhry Charan Singh becomes Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, then Jats think that they have the power. Yadavs are about 8 to 9% of Uttar Pradesh. So once again, Yadavs combined with Muslims. I said sometimes you can combine castes with religion. Yadavs, Muslims, some others, and in a divided polity, if they come to power, then Yadavs have the power and they become the elite. So 10% or 9% people of Uttar Pradesh become the elite, others get left out. Thakurs are just about that much. They are just about 8 to 9%, it's like 7 to 8%, a dominant caste. But once again, if the chief minister is from that caste, then others feel unwanted. And similarly for Brahmins and Dalits. In fact, Dalits are a large group, 20%, and then there are other backward castes who are about 40%, but those include Yadavs and others. So Yadavs are the most cohesive group there. So in such a large state with diversity of its own kind, it may not be linguistic diversity, although there is a diversity of every 100 miles, even Hindi is spoken differently in most parts of the country, and Uttar Pradesh is no exception. It is a state with 75 districts, 75 highly populated districts. All of India has 739 districts for 30 states and 3 other territories. So this is too unwieldy and too large a state. It begins on the border of outskirts of East Delhi with Noida, and it goes on right to the other end. You go past Gorakhpur, Deoria, etc., 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 and you go there. Similarly, it begins on the edge of Uttarakhand, and thank God Uttarakhand was carved out of Uttar Pradesh some time back. Edge of Uttarakhand, and goes right up to Madhya Pradesh, up to Jhansi. So this is a humongous state. It is impossible for any chief minister to be able to manage it, because as we said, it's the size of Pakistan or Brazil. One has 6 federative units, one has 26 federative units. This formula in Uttar Pradesh is not working. But why is it not changing? Because politics likes it, and particularly national parties like it. Now for the BJP, if they can swing Uttar Pradesh, and they get help in Uttar Pradesh because they have Lord Ram and Lord Krishna both in Uttar Pradesh and Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. So the idea of using religion to reunite what caste divided works much more strongly in Uttar Pradesh as it might work, say, in many other states of India. So if you can do that in a large state like that, you are fine. Some of the regional parties also may not want it, because after all, what will happen? How will someone like Mulayam Singh Yadav rule a state, or Akhilesh Yadav, as large and as Uttar Pradesh? In this situation, he can do it because he can combine his Yadav and Muslim and some other vote and come to power. Tomorrow, if you cut UP into 4 or 5, then in which one of those will he be the dominant power? So there is a vested interest. Plus there are vested interests in the bureaucracy because it's a large, huge, powerful cadre, very large number of IAS, IPS officers. It has large networks. There are caste networks within these cadres. There is intermarrying within these cadres, within the caste, sometimes outside the caste. So this has now become a very large vested interest and nobody wants to change it. Now, in my book, the solution for Uttar Pradesh, and you need vision, and a visionary leader has to do it. The solution for Uttar Pradesh is cut it, divide it, let it be. And how do you do that? You can divide it into 4. So the districts of what is called as Western UP, somebody said should be called Harit Pradesh. You can call it anything. You can call it Paschim Pradesh, Harit Pradesh, whatever. They can be one state. Bundelkhand, which goes further south, Bundelkhand, which is the most backward districts of Uttar Pradesh, they can be another state. In fact, to make Madhya Pradesh even less unwieldy, although Madhya Pradesh was helped by the fact that Chhattisgarh was carved out of it, take the Bundelkhand districts from Madhya Pradesh as well and add and create a Bundelkhand state. Maybe Jhansi can be the capital, or maybe they can build another capital, or another district headquarter can become the capital. Then you go to Central UP. You can call it Awadh Pradesh, you can call it Central UP, you can call it anything you want. Capital can continue to be in Lucknow, that can be one state. Then they can be Purvanchal, which is the districts generally bordering Nepal, going right up to the edge of what is today Eastern Uttar Pradesh. That can be Purvanchal, in my book, with Gorakhpur as the state headquarters, because that is the only way you can develop that region and get some focus there. Now, there are two views. One view is you divide it into 5, so then Eastern UP becomes very large. In my book, even then Eastern UP is too large, that should be divided into 2. So one consisting of the districts bordering Nepal or the Tarai area into Purvanchal, and other you can call it whatever, you can make its capital at Varanasi. So what will happen? One, you will have 4 or 5 more manageable states. You will also have 4 and 5 units where people will find it easier to hold their governments accountable. Right now the chief minister is too far. The government is too far. Lucknow is too far for most people. Third, they can be focused growth, development. Each state hopefully will build its own facilities, its own attractions for entrepreneurship and build entrepreneurship. Because even the tourism minister of UP is like the tourism minister of an entire nation. No nation, no federal nation has all its tourism looked after by one minister. It has every state in India also, for example, has a tourism minister. So UP should be 5 states. What you have right now in Uttar Pradesh is unsustainable. It is not going to work, and if it continues like that, this will be the problem, and many more distortions will come in, because as we said, UP's population is growing at twice the rate of the national average. Today we are at a time when Gujarat has become the latest state to reach replacement level population growth, which means its population is now not growing. The new people being added are about the number of the new people who are going out. But Uttar Pradesh, because this population will keep growing, this imbalance will grow, and later the demand for greater share of national resources, and that will get the more progressive states in the south and then even Gujarat upset, thinking that they are being punished for being disciplined with their social indicators. The answer to all that is give up this political temptation and divide up this state, because until you can do that, until you do that, Uttar Pradesh will continue to be a weight around India's neck that will drive India down for all its social indicators, all its per capita income, its entrepreneurship, and we talk about Bihar being the state that is labor exporting and that loses a lot of its talent, and its talent goes all over the world and all across India. Exactly the same thing is happening to Uttar Pradesh as well. So once again, quick fixes are not possible. You cannot fix what is so broken, and it is so broken because it is so large and so united. So to fix this completely broken state of India, you have to break it into 4, ideally break it into 5.